Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Riveme.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of superhero television or film. And this week on the podcast, we are talking about The Suicide Squad.
The has never been more important, you guys.
It is very important.
It is differentiating the.
Because there's Suicide Squad.
Oh, there's Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
There's the squad of suicide.
But then there's the Suicide Squad. The 2021 James Gunn film, The Suicide Squad.
Very different than the David Ayer 2016 film, Suicide Squad.
You didn't even...
I no-scoped that.
Yeah, she didn't even look it up. She didn't even... Sometimes, I won't lie to you folks, we've got IMDb open. We've got
it open.
There's too much to know. You know, sometimes we're like, real quick, who played this?
Well,
what year did it came out?
This movie has 18 people in it.
There's a lot of characters, a lot of people going on. But Diana just no-scoped 2016 there. And that's a strong memory. I respect the hell out of that.
I did pre-research.
Wow.
Some people just call it research.
You're coming in with a strong, confident energy? It's waning a little bit.
No, I like pre-search.
You like pre-search?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did a search before. Mm-hmm. I did a pre-search.
All right, so we're talking about The Suicide Squad on this week's episode, the new movie. We've seen it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to give you a quick spoiler-free review before we get into the spoiler-filled section. So if you haven't seen it, if you're on the fence, if you're unsure, if you just want to get a taste of the episode before you go see the full thing, you can check out the spoiler-free review, which will happen in a moment. Then once you hear the theme song, after that, we will be in the spoiler section. So spoiler warning once we're over there. Let's start with the simple spoiler-free review, though. Diana, did you like it?
I liked it. It's nowhere near a love. I saw some glowing reviews on Twitter, which might have set me up for failure because, I liked it fine, but I didn't think it was phenomenal in any way. I think the first half is much stronger than the second half. I think the first half has better comedy. It moves a little faster. It's got a lot more going on. It seems to taper off in the second half for me. But overall, fun characters. It's zany. It's a real, just turn your brain off. Enjoy a superhero movie kind of movie, and I don't have any glaring flaws in it. I just think there's a lack of comedy in the second half and a lack of urgency throughout that kind of pulls down its energy levels and it's fun for me. But overall, it's real fun. It's full of crazy characters. It's full of pretty good performances. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a easy nowhere near a love. That's how I feel. Andrew, how do you feel about The Suicide Squad?
I'm kind of with you there. I think it's an easy like. It doesn't quite get up to a love. I do think I had a better time than you by the sounds of it. But I really liked it. I think that this is worth a watch. I think it's a lot of fun. The action is great. It's charming. It is charismatic. Every character is likable and fun in their own way. It's well written. Just it is, I think, in every aspect of its DNA, charming, fun, and likable. And it is also visually appealing as well. It is distinct, it's colorful, it's playful. There are some really fun choices made in this that's differentiates it a little bit from other DC movies and from even Guardians of the Galaxy and other James Gunn stuff. So I really like how it looks, I like how it feels, I like how it flows. Did I love it? Am I gonna rush to see it again? No, but I would gladly watch it again and recommend anybody watch it. I think it's a fantastic time.
I would absolutely watch it again. Yeah, I would watch it again. I'd say if you like superhero movies at all, you're going to have a fun time. You're not going to have the best time of your life. It's no Guardians, but it's it's a very serviceable, fun movie. Yeah, everyone's differentiated. The action scenes are really fun. It's really easy to watch. Sometimes action movies can be oh, you're trying to follow. It's an easy to watch movie. You always know what's going on, where people are. It's easy to see everybody. The action's really clean. My complaints are vibes.
Vibes, okay.
Vibes. No vibes of urgency. The comedy dies a little in the second half. But well done for the most part.
Yeah, and I think they do some fun twists and turns and some fun rug pulls. I think that a lot of the joy of this movie, and part of the reason why it's not quite going to be a love or something I rush to rewatch, is that I think a lot of the love and joy is seeing this on the first time and it playing with expectations and subversions in ways that we both expect and don't. Obviously the whole marketing campaign around this is not everyone lives. So
don't get attached.
Don't get attached.
Is the tagline of the trailers, which is a really good idea.
A really good idea. So you kind of go in being okay, they're going to play with expectations and kill off some characters. But I think they play with expectations in even different ways beyond that, which is really fun and unexpected, and I don't know if it would have entertainment value on the second watch, but I would say you don't want this movie spoiled for you because I think there is a lot of like fun, playful twists on expectations in this.
I will mildly disagree. I think there was only like one thing that surprised me in this whole movie. So like I think there were very well done jokes. I'm like, that joke was very well done. I'm not gonna say I didn't see it coming, but
right.
So yeah, I'm not gonna say that like the surprise was it for me. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. I've got psychic comedy chops.
You're seeing it come, yeah.
I'm seeing it coming. Yeah, I'd say there was one big surprise in this movie for me
that
I did really enjoy.
Yeah. I'm not saying like I'm gasping for air surprise, but ones where I'm like, this really adds a lot that like I didn't know you were going to go this direction or this kind of plays with format a little bit. And is character motivated. So there's a few going on for me.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. And can it be spoiled?
Obviously, yes, as you just said.
I mean, but do you think it can be spoiled?
For me, it couldn't have been spoiled. No, it's like you know a lot of people are gonna die. It's called the Suicide Squad. We've all seen how many people are in this movie. The taglines don't get attached. Maybe it can be slightly spoiled by like who dies, but it's not a surprise to me that any of them die. So.
Yeah, I think
it's a tough one.
I see what you're saying.
It might as well be called Movie Where People Die.
I think that there is more than the deaths going on. I think there is format, structure, how things break down.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot going on here that really, I would say, as fresh as someone can go into this, I think it's very important.
Oh, shit.
Because, I think that this can be heavily spoiled.
Oh, man. Andrew has hard opinions. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm a no spoil and you're a spoil.
I think it's a hard go in fresh if you can.
If you can.
If you plan on seeing it.
Let me ask you something. How many trailers did you watch for this movie?
I don't know, like one or two or whatever. But it's not about the deaths. It has nothing to do with the
but
deaths.
there's other stuff in the trailers that like gave away things for me, maybe.
Okay.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting. Okay.
I also say interesting.
All right. Well, let's get into that's the spoiler-free section. I hope that helps make your decision if you're on the fence, if
Probably
you're uncertain
didn't.
or what's going on. Well, we recommend you watch it either way.
We do both recommend it to watch.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the spoiler-filled section. Let's talk about the Suicide Squad. All right, so we have seen the Suicide Squad. A little bit of a disagreement right away on the spoiler-free review, but I'm glad we both liked it though.
We both liked it. It's weird that we disagree on whether it can be spoiled and not on whether it's good. That's a new kind of disagreement for us.
Right.
I'm sorry, right off the bat, I need to know what you think the rug pull moments are.
I think it is Harley Quinn killing the president.
Okay.
I think that that's huge. I think that that is just a very character motivated and abrupt turn, and also like the movie is kind of set up around like the Suicide Squad is expendable, but they've really set up like this big bad who now has a connection with Harley. So I think the killing the president for a moment of character growth for Harley is, I think, both shocking but not done just for shock value, and I think that was a very unexpected twist and turn of the movie. I think that the play with the timelines was very important and humorous and really landed well. Like starting in so hot and fast and then hard cutting to a different section of the island, then going back in time. I think that formatting was really clever and fun and unexpected.
Okay.
And like when it did cut to the other side of the island and a different team, that was not how I expected this movie to kind of set up who survives and who doesn't. So I did not see that coming. And even like the third act kind of callback to playing with the timeline of an A and a B team. So I think that was also very unexpected to have the Idris Elba drop in on Peacemaker to kind of have these A and B storylines playing over a different time frame coalesce. I think that was really smart and clever and completely unexpected, but tied really well into the first act. It seems obvious in retrospect, but in the moment, I didn't see it coming. So I think the unexpected murder of the president and the playing with the timelines in the beginning and end of the movie with an A and a B team.
Okay. Okay, interesting. See, I will say I was a little bit surprised about the president. Not so much Harley shooting him, because I didn't feel he was a very main character villain. Like, it didn't feel like he was like a big bad who was going to be a problem or a help in any way. I think the big surprise to me there was that he genuinely was in love with her and that this came out of nowhere. It's like, what is happening with this storyline? It's very entertaining. That was actually one of my favorite parts, that he genuinely like was into her. This wasn't a ploy for information or him trying to like romantically interrogate her. He like was sincerely into her, which I thought was an interesting twist. I did like that.
Or that was all part of the manipulative act
And
as
he
well.
didn't get there.
And he didn't get to
because she was like, I see the red flags.
Yeah.
Bullet, bullet, bullet.
He didn't get to the third act of his plan.
So I did think that part was fun, not so much shocking. I will agree with the opening timeline differences in the two teams on the island. That was really, really great, because when the first team starts dying, I will say my assumption was they're going to get a second team together in like a week. But the second team already being there on the other half, that was very genuinely surprising and really, really well done. That was a super great rug pull. You forgot. I did forget about that one. So that's a good one. You got me there. You got me on that rug pull. I didn't like the later one.
Oh, okay.
The one in the end where it's like 8 minutes earlier, it felt like kind of being like, I don't know how to edit two storylines together. It really felt, because like I don't like how often the teams separated in the second half. And,
Okay.
like, we stay with Harley for a really long time, and then we go back to the team, and I've kind of lost a flow for the team. And so having everyone separated for so long instead of kind of editing their storylines together to be simultaneous felt a little lazy, to be honest. And I didn't really like it.
Huh. I found it very playful and very very elegant. It felt to me the same way that we talked about when we discussed Fast Five on the podcast, where it's like a bunch of characters all in different acts of their independent storyline, and that the way that you can kind of play and dance off of that. I thought that this did as excellent a job to be like, oh, that's really fun that like Idris Elba is mid-action scene while Peacemaker and Ratcatcher are at the climax of their particular film. I liked that. I thought it was very playful and really worked.
I didn't like it. I think we'd been away from Idris and his half of the team for too long.
Okay.
So like it wasn't like in Fast Five when you see members of the team and you just don't know it's members of the team, like in the dump truck and stuff. It's like it is just like we'll check in with them later and find out why the building exploded. I didn't care for it.
Okay, fair enough.
Didn't do anything for me. I actually did like the action scene. Like one of my favorite moments in this movie is Idris Elba falling like 10 stories, but a story at a time.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And he's in like this weird superhero pose that he's only half committed to because he's kind of falling the whole time. I thought that sequence was wonderful. I didn't like the editing of it with the Ratcatcher part.
Oh, okay.
But I thought that sequence was phenomenal. And you didn't say one of my surprises, which was my favorite surprise, was when Waller's team knocks her out.
Oh, yeah. I guess
didn't see that
that's a good one,
coming.
too. Yeah, I also didn't see that coming.
I really didn't. I was like, I don't know how they're going to get the bombs out of their heads. I don't know if they're going to have to come up with some kind of jammer real quick or what's
Right.
going to happen. And I did not see Waller's team knocks her out and rebels against her as a twist. And it was seeded in really nicely, and I really liked the way it played out. I thought that was a wonderful twist. That was my favorite one. And the only one I really thought of as a twist, I would say, although I agree your island one at the beginning does count.
See, to circle back to the president real quick. I would
Okay.
say the president one was very well surprised and seeded, just from the fact that he gets several scenes and the news reports. Like, this president is the reason that they're there, or at least the air quote, reason Amanda Waller gives that they're there, to be like, this guy's not an American ally. This is a problem. It's this guy. It's this president. They really build him up where in that first scene with the Thinker, it is the dumb general is the one who has to be told to be like, shut up and get out of the way. I'm the president. I'm the intellectual villain. I have a deal with the Thinker. So this president and the Thinker have a deal, then never have a scene together again. Like, the dumb general is meant to be like the grunt and then becomes the president. This C plot of like the freedom fighters, the rebels who want to overthrow this new president. By the time they get there, they burst into the room on the third president from him.
They've already gone pretty far down the chain by the time that they're there.
So I think that that's pretty funny to be like the main one of the main bads, like the thinker, like the guy who's doing the evil experiments or whatever, only has a deal with a president who he doesn't know is dead halfway through the movie. The whole reason the team is there is a president who most of the team doesn't know is dead halfway through the movie. He has all of the scenes. The dumb general has a couple of grunts. So I think that was like really a like... in every aspect of filmmaking, it really did set up like, this is the guy, this is the guy, this is the fucking guy. And then when he gets killed, it felt very, very surprising.
Okay.
It didn't feel like he was expendable in the way that everyone on these teams have been.
Oh, I felt he was expendable. I mean, he had a general who wanted power. The thinker was there, who obviously could take over at any time. Obviously, the big bad was the giant star in the tower.
Right, but the star isn't like the bad. Like
yeah,
the star is...
human men are always expendable. That's how I feel about it.
Right.
In life in general.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, I actually didn't find his death super surprising. It just...
Okay.
There were backup villains, so I didn't find it that surprising. It did feel like the end of like Harley's 3-movie arc though, which I really enjoyed.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if the first Suicide Squad is canon to this movie. It was made very unclear, probably purposefully. But when you watch like the first one when she's so in love with Joker, Birds of Prey, when she's like getting over him, and then this one where she's like, I've learned my lessons, I kill on the red flag. I'm like, oh, good for you, girl. This is a really nice moment for Harley that she's earned over 3 movies.
It definitely was character motivated, for sure. It felt strong.
All right, so that's pretty much all the surprises. I hope no one from the spoiler-free section accidentally jumped ahead to that part. That's
a bad one.
Right off the top, we were like, here are the big spoilers. I would say, just quickly, my biggest positive in this movie will shock no one. I love little Sebastian.
Little Sebastian's adorable.
Oh, whoever thought to put a little backpack on Rat? Oh, man.
The Rat backpack is a good look for him.
I mean, maybe both of my favorite characters were the fake characters, because King Shark was also delightful.
Yeah, King Shark was also very charming, very fun. They had the physicality of King Shark down really well, I think.
They had the physicality down. They did this weird thing where, like, he didn't seem like he was really there, but I was okay with it. Like, he didn't feel real, but I'm like, I don't mind. I don't know why or what was wrong with it, but he felt like he had soft edges.
He did kind of have soft edges. Yeah, there was something about it.
Literally and metaphorically.
Yeah. But I was okay with it. I really liked how he looked. I think it was just kind of like soft and charming. I think, like it became like a very like playful, likable character.
Yeah, he was playful, likable. The quick cut to him like almost eating Ratcatcher early in the movie is also one of my favorite jokes. His mouth is so wide. And she's dead asleep. They did a very subtle thing with his powers that I think I caught subtly. It seems like he is completely immune to all land-based injuries.
Okay.
The only injuries that he ever got were those little fish.
Little suction boys.
The little suction fish. Like, he's got, like, actual marks from them, and he's bleeding from them, but he gets thrown into buildings, and he gets shot with bullets and missiles and rockets, and they don't do anything to him. I think he actually kind of is a water god, and only water-based things can hurt him.
I feel like if you were a water god, it would be more important to be invulnerable in water.
I didn't make up his powers.
I understand.
But that is the impression I'm getting, that he is immune to all land-based weaponry.
Right. Yeah, because he is the tank of the team. He takes so much of the damage.
He takes so much damage, and those are the only things that hurt him at all. Like, the military guys just like shoot him point blank range for like 5 minutes straight, and there's not a scratch on him. Like, something mystical's going on.
Yeah, like Bloodsport knocks him down with his like special gun in that first like when he almost eats Ratcatcher scene.
He does, but there's no injuries. There's no blood. There's no marks. So like a concussion blast will knock him back, sure, but injury wise, just a little fish.
Interesting. Interesting little theory that you have on his powers.
I've got theories.
I think those were just powerful little fish.
You think it was the fish?
I think they were just. It was. I'm more so giving kudos to the fish in this scenario.
I don't know what the fish were.
I don't know either. Just some fish.
Well, but were they like aliens as well? They weren't part of Starro's thing.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, it was in the Starro building, I guess.
Maybe it was Nazi fish?
Just like a different experiment that they were working on. Some kind of a crazy fish. Yeah, if they're crazy fish. If they're a comic book thing, I don't know it or what the story is. But yeah, they were just some crazy fish without much of an explanation there. Yeah.
But yeah, I love little Sebastian, his little backpack. He was absolutely vital. And then Ratcatcher, I'm worried about, but liked her. I think she has hantavirus. I think she is dying.
Oh, the sleepiness, the permanently sleep. She is pretty damn sleepy all the time.
I went to the CDC website and I looked up diseases that rats carry.
Okay.
There are 14 that they directly carry.
Uh-huh.
And like, she's not keeping like lab mice. These are wild.
Loose rats.
Loose rats. Even if you can control them, they can't control whether they give you a disease.
Fair enough. I mean, you can control how close they get to you.
Okay, flashback was her and Taika sleeping with hundreds of
under rats
as blankets.
Yeah, they peeing and pooping on you.
They're infecting you with their 14 multiple diseases.
Yeah, she's sick. She is sick. You're right. I can see that. Mm-hmm. That she is definitely sick.
So I looked up the 14 diseases. Oddly enough, only hantavirus has fatigue as a symptom. So I'm going to diagnose her with hantavirus.
With hantavirus?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That makes this story tracks as well. You've created some stories within stories here.
I am fleshing out these characters for you, for everybody else. She's got a 36 mortality rate chance from the hantavirus.
Oh.
FYI.
Oh.
Thank you, cdc.com/rats.
/rats.
That's probably what it was. I don't know.
Oh, okay. You said it with such confidence.
This isn't like me no-scoping the 2016.
Right. It's not quite the same. It's not quite the same. Okay.
Okay. So those are my favorite characters. Who was your favorite squad?
I mean, that's a tough one. I really like Idris Elba as Bloodsport. I think he does a good job of owning that character, of having that kind of reluctant leadership likability to him, which is, very obviously the arc that he's being set forth on from the first moment that we meet him in the movie is like, oh, can you be the reluctant leader? And of course he will be. And he is. But I buy it through every step of the way, I think, because he gives a great performance.
I also buy it. It's not a great sign for Colonel Flagg right off the top. When you're like, he's going to be the leader. You're like, Colonel Flagg's the leader, though. Oh, no.
Right,
Colonel Flagg's going to die.
Well, he's the leader of Bravo team. He's the leader of the B team.
But he never dies until the end there.
Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, I loved Idris. I really liked his suit. I almost wish they explained it, like, when he first got introduced, that, like, his suit was made of, like, flat weapons.
Yeah, like he has like kind of nanotech that just moves and creates this like touch of Tony Stark, but to a smaller and more manageable level.
Yeah, it was really cool. I've never seen anything like this. And like at the end when he's out of weapon, he's just padding like all these, and his suit looks the exact same, but somehow he's out of weapons. But I loved that.
Yeah, his suit has like the indentations where like little accent pieces used to be. Yeah. And the visual effects of how his weapons transformed looked really good too.
It was incredible. His mask.
The mask was really cool.
Man.
The mask was that skull jaw bit that he has looks amazing.
Just having a jaw is haunting. And having the rest of it just kind of be a motorcycle helmet look and just the jaw. Oh, scary, scary mask.
Yeah, I will say the one thing that I did notice is that anytime that the mask went on, the mask looks incredible. It looks cool. The stunt person they got for Idris is not Idris's size, which actually kind of bothered me. That like whenever the mask went on, it was someone who was like visibly a foot shorter and like 50 pounds lighter, I'm gonna say. Like, don't get me, like, they were in great shape.
Yeah.
But like they were in like swimmer shape with that like super tight rib cage and like kind of jacked arms and stuff, but also a foot shorter. So I'm like, this is clearly like a very top-end athlete, stunt person. But Idris Elba is like a muscular, strong man, but is a little bit more like built like a tank. Like he's a little bit more built like an NBA like center. Yeah,
he's not doing like backflips and stuff, but he could bench press.
Yeah, and obviously you need to have an athletic person who can do backflips and stunt stuff. But it's rare though that it's that noticeable for me that like they didn't pad out the suit to even make him look like Idris's size. Like whoever the stunt person was to be like, you're smaller because you do gymnastics or what and stunt and wire work or whatever. But they didn't pad out the suit. They had a different, tighter tailored suit so that just kind of drew some weird attention to it for me.
And you can also put like heels on a guy who's a foot shorter. Maybe that was him in heels.
Just frame them differently. They're on Apple boxes or whatever.
Honestly, that's very disappointing just because I know you have very been closely following Chris Hemsworth's poor stunt double, who has been killing himself trying to get Chris Hemsworth's arms.
Just trying to be so big.
And he's like on Instagram, and he's like, I have to get so big, and I still have to do backflips. Chris doesn't have to do backflips, and like that guy's doing that. And then Suicide Squad's just like, this guy doesn't look anything like.
Yeah, don't worry about it. And not everyone has to beat their brains out to try to be the exact size as the person that they're stunt doubling. But yeah, it was just a weirdly stark difference. I could really see it. Yeah.
I thought Idris was good. I didn't think he got like a lot to do comedically, but he did have the clearest arc of the Suicide Squad members. And you need someone who's got an arc, because like a lot of them are just expendable comedy, but someone needs to have an arc going on. I think my favorite thing was him and Peacemaker's rivalry. This was another highlight of the movie for me. Them like having like the kill off in the Rebel base.
That was fun. Yeah.
That was really fun. Yeah. Just like who can kill the most people the most quietly, except at the end, he's lit 2 guys on fire. And I'm like, everyone would be. That's not a quiet way to kill somebody.
They stealthily killed like a whole town, but some of them were not stealth kills.
No, you can light a man on fire. He's going to yell.
They're going to scream.
They
don't die quick enough. They don't scream.
Mm-hmm. He was walking around on fire. So yeah, their rivalry of like who's the smallest, the callback to the bullet thing.
That was really smart.
That was really smart, because those really were like fast throwaway lines in the beginning about like, I can hit more center than you. Like, what's more center? You use a smaller bullet. That was a really brilliant callback. I love a good callback. I love a literal Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
There was a Chekhov's bullet seated in the beginning, used in the third act to end the rivalry. So like really great arc on those two, and just a really fun rivalry throughout the film.
And I think even like a good, talking about like the small bullet callback to the end, to be like when Bloodshot in the end shoots a small bullet through Peacemaker's larger bullet to kill him. Or to injure him, air quote, kill him. Turns out he's alive. But I think they also did a good job of keeping Amanda Waller consistent too, with that Peacemaker subterfuge, where it's like the movie starts and it is Bloodsport laying down that line to be like, realizing they're the backup team, and he's like, Amanda Waller always has a plan within the plan. And then she had a plan within the plan within the plan. So just these like little touches of like consistency and of seeding the beginning and the end. And I know that you don't love the time jump as much, but I feel like they did a really good job of like paralleling the beginning and end. I do agree with you though, the end moves slower, but between the like lines about Amanda Waller, the little bullet within a bullet, and then the time jump backwards to catch up to a current action scene, I feel like they really bookended it with very similar styles, and I like that.
They did really bookend it. They even bookend it with Waller blowing someone up, because in the first one, she blows up Michael Rooker. She actually does it. And then in the end, she's about to blow up the team, but her team stops her. So it's like a bookend with a twist for that part of it. So yeah, the end really does bookend the beginning in a nice way. There are a lot of nice, fun callbacks.
Yes, so I do like that. I do like that. Well, let's take a break in the podcast to thank our sponsor of today's episode. It is our good friends over at Nordvpn.
Oh, Nordvpn. So many great things we can do with Nordvpn. I'm all over the internet. I'm safe.
You don't even know what country I'm in. I'm everywhere.
I'm on cdc.com/rats.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere, and our information's safe, and we can see stuff from other countries with our NordVPN.
That's the fantastic thing. It's super easy to use. They've got apps for Android, iPhone, iOS, Windows, whatever it is that you're using. It makes it super easy. I just click a couple buttons, and then my IP address is changed to be wherever it is that I want to be in the world, in case that involves wanting to watch a specific something that might not be available within Canada, which a lot of things aren't. So I can regionally jump around in order to watch content that I want to watch, or also just make my appearance to be somewhere else for safety and security purposes as well, which is great when you're out and on the go, and especially on public Wi-Fi networks. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. I can't emphasize how easy it is, because I know you might be hearing the words VPN. You're like, I don't know what that is. It sounds complicated. IP address. I can't emphasize enough. You hit install, and then a thing opens, and you hit change VPN or one button. One button. You're done. There's no. You don't even have to know your current IP address.
No, you don't need to know anything.
Know anything. NordVPN knows it all.
Yeah.
It's gonna help you out. One install, one button click. You're safe. You can geo to other countries. It's so easy. It's so amazing. You can install it on up to 6 devices. It's the fastest VPN in the world. So if you need a VPN, you need a Nordvpn.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize this enough. You need to know nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
I love knowing nothing.
Nothing. You open it up and you're like, think of a city. Type in that city. You're probably in that city now.
Now
Like,
you can
the internet
see-
thinks you're in that city.
Now you can see what streams in that city.
What is that city up to? Learn their life. When in Rome, choose Rome. Like whatever it is that you have going on, it does make it super easy and simple.
Give me that Rome streaming service access.
We'll see what happens.
I want to see what they got over
Let's
there.
play jazz.
Subtitles probably for me.
Yeah,
but
let's find out.
Let's find out.
With NordVPN. So right now, what you're going to want to do is go to nordvpn.com/TFS and use promo code TFS to get a 2-year plan plus a bonus gift with a huge discount. So once again, go to nordvpn.com/TFS or use promo code TFS to get a 2-year plan plus a bonus gift with a huge discount. And thank you very much, NordVPN, for your support.
Thank you for your support and your wonderful services that I greatly enjoy.
Excellent stuff. And now let's get back to the Suicide Squad.
Speaking of, well, not the Suicide Squad, I guess a Suicide Squad, because this movie has 2 of them. I'm just going to point that out. I think maybe the other reason I like the first half more, it seems to have more energy, is I think I might like the first Suicide Squad more. Like, I don't dislike the second Suicide Squad we get, the one with, like, Polka Dot Man and King Shark and everything. But the first one is a sillier, kind of more vibrant Suicide Squad. Like, you got Weasel, you got this crazy Pete Davidson energy, you got Nathan Fillion, you got Flula.
Yeah.
I love Flula so much. So I almost feel like it was a disservice that I liked this first Suicide Squad more. They're a little bit sillier. They are more expendable. Like, they're kind of too silly. Nathan Fillion's arms came off as his power.
Right.
And they don't even move very fast. It killed me how slow they moved.
They're just like,
through the air.
they're like normal arms. They're just normal arms.
It's just arms that are further from his body doing nothing particularly interesting. But yeah, I think I was genuinely sad this entire team died. I guess not Weasel.
Not Weasel. Weasel's still out there.
Weasel's still out there.
I like
weaseling
Weasel.
around.
I'm glad. There was no way. That was the one thing that wasn't surprising. When
Oh, yeah,
when they
yeah.
pulled Weasel out of the water, I'm like, well, Weasel is just gonna wake up later.
He's just gonna wake up later. He's gonna go eat some babies, I guess. I mean, maybe we're gonna get a Weasel spin-off show as well.
Hey, who knows? We'll see.
He'll show up on Peacemaker, maybe. But yeah, I think I liked the first squad too much. I was having a really good time with that squad.
Yeah. Well, I think that was it's tough to compare because one of the squads, like that first squad, is the 100% joke squad.
Yeah.
With the exception of like a Flag and Harley, who do end up surviving and actually having like an arc and a proper story.
And then Michael Rooker, who I think was like serious but smart, and was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. So I think that is the goof squad because they are 100% expendable. Yeah. I didn't expect the death of Boomerang. I thought Boomerang was going to hang around.
That is a real don't get too attached kind of surprise, because you're like, oh, who was in the original movie that they brought back? It's Waller, who's incredible. Viola Davis
You
is
can't change Viola
absolute
Davis.
perfect casting for Waller. And Flag, who's kind of nothing, but he's fine.
Yeah.
Harley, you cannot lose. And then to bring back Boomerang, you're like, oh, wow, you guys really, I guess Boomerang was a fan favorite.
Right.
I guess he was just as popular as Harley. He's dead. Oh, Boomerang is absolutely murdered right off the top.
Right. Also, I do get the impression that people really enjoy working with Jai Courtney. He's just got that reputation of people are like, he just makes every set a fucking delight. People are like, we got to get him. So I
as
think it
much
might
as
have
we
just
can.
been, a like, let's get the guy who's a joy to be around back.
Because does he have a cameo in like the extended?
He's in Justice League.
Yeah, the Flash catches him.
Yes.
But
yeah.
was that in the first Suicide Squad movie?
You know what? It was first Suicide Squad
was
because
first
I think
Suicide
he
Squad?
does get caught by the Flash and they show that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're right. It's first Suicide Squad.
But like that's even a get. Like to be caught by the Flash? Like,
Well-
that dude doesn't even have a movie yet.
Well, that's another reason where I'm like, you killed off this dude. I'm like, that would have been a great like opening villain for a Flash movie as well, like a
Oh,
good like
yeah.
a quick catch kind of a thing.
He's already been set up.
Is the only thing that the Flash has, like literally the only thing.
Yeah, we don't have any other villains.
Flash is going right to multiverse, and his one villain has been exploded.
He's
He
dead.
has nothing pre-established to deal
Oh
with.
no!
Nothing.
Barry, clean slate, Allen.
Yeah.
is what we will call you.
Yeah. New actor playing his dad. Like it's all. He's got nothing.
Billy Crudup had to like drop out.
Yeah, so his dad's a different person and his one villain's dead. That's all, and he has no movie yet. He's got no movie.
Oh, Barry Allen coming from the bottom. Now he's here.
Oh, just so much going on.
Oh, or not much going on. He's got no pre-established stuff.
So yeah, surprised by the death of Jai Courtney, and a little bit surprised by the death of Rick Flag as well.
That did surprise me.
Yeah, not that I thought he was like irreplaceable or anything, but through the course of this movie, I really kind of like felt for this character and liked where his head was at, and also kind of got the impression of like a soft romance potential between him and Harley? ? Or at least a tight friendship.
I got tight friendship. This is the exact moment that I was like, this is no romance, or you are the sweetest man ever. When she hugs him after they came to save her, but she'd saved herself, he rubs her back with the back of his gun and won't touch her physically. And I'm like, friends, you would have risked some finger touches if this was romantic.
Right.
But also rubbing her back with a gun is very funny.
It's also very funny.
It's very funny is the problem.
Yeah, it's also funny. And also, Harley might be into that, too. Like, you don't know.
That does feel like a thing Harley would be into. She does like being saved and appreciate it as well.
So, like, they had a nice friendship or a nice relationship, whether it's romantic or friend or whatever it is that's going on. I liked how they built that throughout this movie.
And they also had, like, the longest friendship because they, like, were friends in the first one. He, like, wants to save her. That's off mission. That's not what they're there to do. So to establish that friendship and then to have him die when she's not around is also really sad. Like, she doesn't get to know that Peacemaker killed him or that, like, he died doing the right thing or like, to have been there for him, which is weird for, like, the closest bond in the movie, I'd say, other than Ratcatcher and Idris Elba.
Yeah. That is a little bit strange because even though the Peacemaker Bloodsport rivalry kind of was the through line throughout the movie, and I think like that turn works really well, it does almost feel like Harley should be getting revenge for Rick Flag.
Yeah, I feel like Harley should have been the one to kill Peacemaker because Idris Elba didn't give a shit about him. Yeah. I only just realized that, though. I didn't think that as I watched it. Yeah, but now that I think about it, I'm like, Harley should have been more involved in that. Yeah, that guy is a staple of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, absolutely the same.
He survived many things.
Yeah, and became more of a character as things went on, and it worked for me. Yeah.
Another huge positive that I really liked, and I think we've seen this in other things, but I really liked it here. I really liked these baked-in titles that say things on the screen in different ways.
Oh, yeah, slick and cool. I was 100% on board for those.
Looked great. Yeah, like writing things in the sand and the water washes it away, writing things in flames. And that's always like a funny little joke. I love touches like this. This is one of my favorite parts of the movie every time things would pop up on the screen. Even when you have fun with subtitles, I like it. Subtitles kind of just like popping up like comic book word balloons instead of like bottom captions.
Right.
I think it's very fun.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think they did they played with the title cards and it worked really well for the most part. I think the only one that I didn't really do anything for me was Suicide Squad versus Starro. Yeah. And then like because like that came up and then they all like did the fake we pretend to quit, like fuck this country, let's go back, our mission's over. So it's like you can't do the fake we're not gonna be heroes thing after you had this title. Like that title card needed to be like right before super energetic fight and not right before this like weird lull. And it was the only one that didn't really look super crisp. So other than that, I really did enjoy it though through the 8 weeks earlier on a toilet seat, the sand blowing back to just now as a timeline. I think is really fun.
Yeah, using things that naturally get removed within a scene, like the soap on the toilet seat, is actually kind of brilliant. Like it says it's removed by the character. I think that's like really, really fun, ingrained titles. I totally agree about the one versus Starro, especially because there's not even a joke there.
No.
Like, it's not like the Suicide Squad fights an alien or fights a big star. Like, they actually just said his name.
Yeah.
And I felt like I saw, like, the DVD chapter title on screen.
Yeah, it would have been funny if it was Suicide Squad versus whatever the hell this thing
Something
is. Something like that would be funny and
You're
charming.
good at jokes.
There we go. That's a joke.
That's a better joke.
That's a joke.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, I liked the baked-in captions. They were there just enough. Mm-hmm. I actually meant to ask this when we were on Idris. I apologize for backtracking. Do you think this was supposed to be Will Smith coming back? These characters are exactly the same.
No, I don't think
You
it was
don't?
supposed to.
You think it's a joke that it's basically the same character on purpose?
Maybe. I don't know if that's inherently a joke or if it was intended to be a joke, but I think it just is. I can't imagine a version of this script where they did intend that it was Deadshot.
Okay, because it is just guy who snipes and daughter in trouble.
Yeah. To be fair though, there's like 12 of those characters in the DC.
The daughter's always in trouble.
The daughter's always in trouble. There's a lot of just weird sharpshooter guys. And even within the movie, Bloodsport is like, this other dude's also the same thing.
I loved that. I thought that was great. That Waller has one description of sharpshooter dudes.
Yeah. And I get the impression that like Pete Davidson's character
he
on the
didn't have powers
A-Team
either.
was definitely also that guy. Savant was also that guy. There are literally 6 of them in this movie alone.
Yeah, it's just kind of what weapon you choose to use. Like, because Hawkeye is also that guy. Green Arrow's that guy, but he uses arrows. Like, yeah, Deadshot, Deathstroke.
Yeah, Bullseye in Marvel, but there's a million of them.
Fair enough. I really actually do like, if you're gonna do this dynamic. This is the first movie that I think I've seen this happen. I loved that he fought with his daughter and didn't really care about her, because I'm like, that feels like how a murderer would feel about his daughter he didn't want to have.
Yeah.
This feels like the realest part of the movie.
Yeah,
just fighting with this girl.
Very fun and charming. I really liked his relationship with her, and he sold it really. Idris Elba just like full on snapping and like them screaming at one another. Perfect scene.
It really was perfect. It should be not endearing that he doesn't care about his daughter all that much, but it really was just like character building, and you're like, of course he wouldn't. He's a serial killer who shot Superman. He doesn't care about his own daughter. It makes perfect sense. And the daughter's pissed about it too. Yeah, of course she would be. It really felt like a brand new take on something that is a very common trope.
Yeah, and a very real take on something,
Yeah.
which also just kind of gave a little bit of a breath of fresh air into all of it as well. I'm fully with you on that one.
Yeah, it was a nice little surprise. Look at your little surprises for me, James Gunn.
He's full of little surprises.
Full of little
And some
surprises.
bigger surprises.
Well, speaking of bigger surprises, Starro being that big was kind of a surprise. He's not usually that big.
Oh, okay.
Starro is usually like the size of like one story, I think.
Okay.
So him being that big was kind of a surprise. I will say the way they defeat Starro is literally my worst nightmare.
A stab in the eye?
Nope. Being infested with rats that eat you from the inside out.
Ah, okay.
Stab in the eye I can handle. I wear contacts. I can
Okay.
handle eye stuff.
Okay,
I
okay.
get that eye stuff is hard if you don't wear contacts.
It's awkward and tricky. And you don't want to get stabbed in the eye.
I don't.
So there's that.
But I would prefer it over rats.
And then there's the rat stuff.
It's the rats thing. It literally is like when I was too young, I read like a torture scene in a book involving rats, and it is I'm Idris Elba. I'm
Right.
like, it is genuinely my actual phobia.
And it's genuinely like reasonably very fearful. Like that's an entirely reasonable thing to be afraid of.
Which is actually why I was a little bothered by Ratcatcher this whole movie. Who's like, why are you afraid of rats? I'm like, they carry diseases and just will eat you.
And you're using them to murder. You know that you should
They're
be afraid
weapons.
of these. And also you're sick.
You're dying of hantavirus.
Yeah.
We've been over
They're
this.
friends with you and they're still killing you. You're sick.
They're accidentally killing you. Of course they're going to hurt Idris Elba. You're not controlling them all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, her continually being like, why don't you like rats? I'm like, he's a human man and rats are gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, these aren't pet rats that you clean and stuff. Wild rats.
Like, yeah, Sebastian's cool. Sebastian's probably fine.
Sebastian's cool. She takes care of Sebastian.
Yeah,
He's got a little
he's got a little
coat.
backpack that Sebastian bathes and is like
I would die to
probably
know.
up on his shots or whatever. Sebastian's cool.
I would die to know what's in Sebastian's backpack.
It's probably like a little cracker. You know, there's little Ritz in there in case he gets snacky later.
A little cracker.
There's got to be a little cracker in there.
And maybe a little water bottle.
A little bit.
Little
bit.
tiny water bottle?
Just a little dry. Maybe. I don't know how you would
Little compass.
how
a
you'd
hat.
seal it. Little hat in case it gets
the
cold.
sun?
For the sun, maybe.
I was thinking for the sun.
Either
A
way,
little-
it's charming as hell.
Little mustache for a disguise. Like King Shark. Mm-hmm. The King Shark mustache thing was
That
very
was a
funny.
really funny scene. That was really funny and charming. But yeah, the rats inside the eye, it was... I mean, I'm not going to say it didn't upset me. It didn't overly upset me. Obviously, it was meant to be like purposefully upsetting to a certain degree. The other thing I find weird about that scene in particular, so Harley like dives with the javelin into the eye of Starro, and then all of the rats kind of come in behind her or whatever, is that I don't know what is with this obsession with. I don't know if it's a Margot Robbie thing or not Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie.
Yeah, that's the actress.
If it's a Margot Robbie thing or if it's a Harley Quinn thing. But I feel like every movie now has had like a scene of Harley Quinn angelically floating in water.
Have they?
Yeah, like I feel like even in like the first Suicide Squad,
She definitely got wet in the first one.
or maybe in Batman v Superman, it's when like remember like that one Joker scene where like
well, that's
Batman
when-
catches Joker, or is that in Suicide Squad?
That's in Suicide Squad, but that's how she gets her weirdness. She falls into the vat of acid.
No, it's not the vat. There's the car chase, and the car drives into the lake.
Oh yeah, that scene. Yes.
Yeah, so I think that there has been like just I don't understand what it is. I don't know if Margot Robbie shows up on the set and is like, by the way, everyone, I can hold my breath real good in case you want to do any underwater stuff. And they're like, I guess we'll use that. Or if there's something
Number
about
one on her skills list.
Yeah, or
loves to be in water.
loves a hold breath for like 3 minutes, easy to film a full fucking scene. Don't even stress it. I don't know if it's just a skill she has or if it's something that people keep imposing on her or this character. But it was just like, as that happened, I'm like, all right, I guess I've seen this before. This isn't really much of anything for me.
Okay, I will say I don't remember her being in water all that much, but now that you've brought it up, I'm like, she is wet every now and then, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a wet character. For some reason.
I was thinking more she has a lot of like fantasy violent sequences.
Yeah.
That maybe get to be a bit too much. Like Birds of Prey, there was definitely like one too many, like a musical sequence fantasy with Ewan McGregor that came out of nowhere, I remember. So like
Right.
all of these like birds exploding while she's killing all the guys. I'm like, it's kind of cool. At least the fish weren't in Starro. I was like, at least the fish in Starro were real, but the fish couldn't have gotten up there.
No.
So I guess it was just rats in there, or did other stuff appear? I feel like there was
Appear
like
where?
Oh, when she was floating in Starro's eye, it felt like there was like more imaginative stuff in there too, but it might have all just been rats.
I think it was just all rats, yeah. It was all rats just like eating the veins and vascularity or whatever that was going on in there.
Blood coming out.
Yeah, it was mainly her escaping after killing the president was like the big one where it was like a lot of like flower petals exploding as she screamed. And I think in Birds of Prey, they kind of wrote it off as a POV scene where I think like a bunch of cocaine exploded. So she was like hopped up on cocaine and like it was a drug fueled rage, which is why like there were fantasy elements that we as an audience saw. I'm kind of okay that this movie was just like, that's just this character's visual style within cinema, so just get on board with that or don't, but that's happening now.
I actually did like that they only used it for the scene where she was completely alone. Because it would have kind of felt weird when other characters were there if she's doing her fantasy elements. But for a scene where she's just taking out guys alone, it actually did feel very organic and very true to her character. So that wasn't really a complaint on my part. I was just trying to track how many times that had happened.
Ah, okay, I'm with
So
you.
I'm just going through it mentally. I'm doing some post search.
Right.
Not
Some
like my
post-search.
pre-search.
It's slightly
It's
different
than
the
pre-search.
But yeah, she's got her own unique visual style, but only when she's alone, and then it kind of like subsides to what is necessary for like the team picture once they're all in there together.
And she's great as usual.
Oh yeah.
She's always been good as Harley.
We've never had a complaint about Margot Robbie as Harley.
I think my favorite sequence, besides the President one, is also involving Polka Dot Man, which I loved, is when Polka Dot Man is upset that Milton's been killed. And she's like, I don't know a Milton. Who's Milton? Like, she really sounds it. And I did feel bad for Milton because that whole sequence, I was like, why is the bus driver here?
Yeah. I felt bad for Milton when Bloodsport didn't know who Milton was.
Because he did meet Milton.
Because Harley's insane, but I'm like, come on, man. You've been paying attention to stuff. You should know Milton.
Harley's insane, but joined the team halfway through. Bloodsport met Milton on the road way back at the beginning of the movie. He knows Milton.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah.
Rude, Bloodsport. I thank you, Polka Dot Man, for understanding Milton
Them
was a real
looking at
person.
Milton's dead body and nodding to be like, oh, that was really funny and charming.
Did feel real.
Her calling Bloodsport Milton at the end to be like, didn't we have a full 15-minute conversation about? Brilliant, really fun. What did you think of the Polka Dot Man seeing his mother?
I thought it was overused, but very funny.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the line about it is very funny. The first visual of what he sees is very funny. I think it would have been better if they didn't include it in the dance club. So that the
agree.
Starro one would be more of a callback, and it's been like an hour.
Yeah.
So that would be my only complaint about it. It's a very funny gag when it shows the entire Suicide Squad as his mom, and you can tell which one's King Shark. I thought that, and they're all wearing the outfits, the mom. Very, very funny. The dance club's kind of funny, but I'd sacrifice it for the Starro joke.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe they just did it to kind of reiterate to the audience that this is a thing, so we didn't forget by the Starro joke. And typically that's what you want to do. You want to like set up, reiterate, and then pay off. But I think that was heavy, like it stood out enough in the first act that you didn't need to reiterate it to the audience. That was strange enough that it would have made sense as a callback.
And it's strange because the movie was so confident that we had logged the line about a bullet and a bullet.
Yeah,
which was very confidently said only once, and then was the biggest callback of like the biggest kill in the movie, probably to be. So it, and also he says the line about the mom, and then we see the mom. So it already kind of got reiterated within the first act. So I really would have dropped the second one, but the third one is very funny. Starro as a giant mother who he shoots the leg off of, I guess.
Yeah. That is fun. I like that one a lot.
And it's fun. I liked Polka Dot Man a lot. His quiet craziness was really nice.
Yeah.
Just like, we're going to die. And he's just, I hope so. I'm like, oh, you hate your life, you poor man.
I was kind of into his whole attitude throughout the whole movie.
I was into it. Yeah, he was. Is it mean to say I'm like, he hated his life so much it made it less sad when he died?
Mean but reasonable.
Mean but reasonable. Okay.
Yeah, it did make it. It made it sad that he was just finding a little bit of fun.
That is definitely way sadder.
Yeah,
because everyone on the Suicide Squad always is just finding a family as they die is usually what's going on.
Let's talk about. I want to talk about. I think the last thing that I really want to talk about is I want to talk about Peacemaker for a little bit.
All right.
Because I don't understand the all-in on Peacemaker that James Gunn and DC and Warner Brothers have made. I don't understand it at all.
I don't. Like, I think John Cena does a really good job in this role.
I think he does a pretty good job in this role.
Like definitely no complaints about it. He got the character down. He has a couple funny jokes. I get who he is. He's fully fleshed out. But if you were like, who was the standout character of Suicide Squad? I'd be like, King Shark probably, or Sebastian the Rat.
Yeah.
Like, I think Peacemaker would be like 5th on the list.
Yeah, Polka Dot Man I'd put above.
Polka Dot Man I'd put above.
Yeah, hands down.
Harley is fun as always. Like, yeah, he's not even like cracking.
Weasel I would put above him.
Weasel,
as a spinoff.
Like licking the glass.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, like Peacemaker is getting a TV show.
That's why he's alive
I think
at
it's
the end.
on HBO maybe? Or
I think HBO Max probably.
HBO Max, and it's produced by James Gunn, and they've already started filming it. Like literally it was like they finished filming The Suicide Squad and went right into production on the first season of Peacemaker.
And they were like, this is our next big hit.
They're all in on Peace, and I just don't get it. Especially when like John Cena does an okay job with it. He's a big guy, and I think John Cena has the ability to be dramatic. He has the ability to be comedic, but I don't think they know who this character is, because there are at times where they're writing him as the I am a parody, I am a joke, I am kind of a fucking idiot. Mm-hmm. And then there are times where it's like, I'm actually the very smart big bad, but you can't do that because you're just ruining the character sometimes for a joke. Like the guy who is willing to kill Ratcatcher in order to get the hard drive to protect the American government and is the sleeper agent within the team of the Suicide Squad is not the same guy who's walking through a jungle talking about sucking dicks for freedom.
Yeah.
Like those two lines don't come from the same character. That doesn't make sense. Like him in the mission briefing when he's like, Star is also a nickname for assholes. Is this having something to do with a butthole? And Amanda Waller being like, no. And that's the dude you trusted to be your double agent, and later is very competent at his job and seems to understand everything else, but is also a complete idiot. Like it doesn't. The writing of the character does not make any sense.
I totally agree. It almost seemed like there should have been yet another rug pull of like, I'm not just a sleeper agent, but I'm also not dumb, by the way. Like,
right.
Like something he acted dumb about, he actually understands or something. Or he's like, I wouldn't actually suck dicks. Ha! Fooled you. Some kind of line about how he was like trying to act more dumb than he is. Because this is a man who's too dumb to be a sleeper agent.
Yeah.
He would have given it away by now.
Yeah.
He would have had some kind of line about like, we got to find the servers. And they would have been like, what are you talking about, servers?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's not a smart man.
Yeah.
He loves America. And like, I get who this is, the guy who loves America to a fault. It's like who a lot of people think Captain America is and are wrong about.
Right.
Like, that's the idea.
Right. And it's actually who U.S. agent is.
Yeah.
That they're doing. Yeah.
You're U.S. agent.
Yeah.
You're DC's U.S. agent. But yeah, the dichotomy of I'm very dumb, but I'm very competent, but sometimes I'm smart doesn't work if the dumb part isn't on purpose.
Yeah, because really all he is whatever the writers require in any given scene, which is not a character. Like, that's a plot device. But it's not a character for him to just be anything to anyone at any given time with no loyalty, purpose, or consistency.
And he wasn't even all that cool. Like, Idris Elba's stuff was way cooler.
Yeah,
he's got
I
a
agree.
dumb helmet, and he was good at sharpshooting. And I'm like, but Idris Elba's good at sharpshooting, and he's got like 5 different weapons that are all really dope, and you've just got one gun.
Yeah.
So I would like to see the Bloodsport show, please.
Yeah, and obviously you can't afford that. But
No.
But
John Cena is desperate for a franchise.
yes.
He
yeah,
feels like a
is.
man who really wants one. He's like,
And-
I'm in F9. I'm in Suicide Squad.
And I think this isn't it. I mean, obviously it is. Get that money, John Cena. Do what you got to do or whatever. But I just don't feel compelled by this character. I can't imagine anyone filming this leaving and being like, that's the fucking guy. That's the show. That's your goddamn show is this guy.
It's not like when you leave like one of the Fast movies and you're like, give The Rock a spinoff. The Rock was the best part. Because he always is.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. But I definitely, even if I hadn't known he had a spinoff, I wouldn't walk out of there being like, John Cena needs his own show.
Yeah, there's nothing.
It's not...
In all honesty, the only thing that excites me about the idea of a Peacemaker show is that Steve Agee, who was one of the guys, one of the like agents in the room with Amanda Waller, that he is a very talented and funny comedian. He was also the on-set King Shark, so he's the motion capture like physical embodiment of King Shark, which is later voiced by Stallone. But Steve Agee, I think, is very talented, very funny, and added a lot of charm and charisma to the Amanda Waller operation room, and also physically embodied a lot of good stuff in King Shark, and I think is the comedic anchor for a show for something like that. So that gives me some hope for that show, but other than that, it's a very strange character that they latched onto with Peacemaker.
It will be, and we will watch and review that for sure, but we'll see how far into the show we get, as we sometimes only watch a little bit. I think I've only got one more point about Suicide Squad, and this is kind of like a trope corner point, maybe. Well, let's take a little trip to trope corner, as we sometimes do. A trope that has been kind of ruined for me, and we see in a lot of these movies, is hide evidence so that the people don't find out that the government did this. And this is a movie that does that. Obviously, a big point is hide the evidence so that people don't find out we did this. And I feel like the years of Trump have just jaded me of like, yeah, you'd trend on Twitter for like a day. And then people
no
would
one would care.
No one would care.
No one would care that
they'd
you experimented on a big star.
They wouldn't care. It would trend for a day and it would go into a wiki and we'd be like, we'd file it away. Mm-hmm. And it would go in the file with all the other bad shit that happens from America. I just don't feel like there would be repercussions. The only time that this works for me at this point is evidence of you specifically doing a crime you would be tried for.
Right.
This is Amanda Waller shooting the vice president. I have footage
There's video
of
her at the facility authorizing the experiments or something, maybe.
Something like that. Something really personally damaging or just the fact that American government does bad things. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Of course they do. We all knew that. I don't think this is worth killing over. Not worth sending 2 Suicide Squads in for. And also, you knew all the information from that big tower. Just shoot a rocket at it. Shoot a missile from a submarine.
Yeah, they could have just blown it up from space.
From space.
Yeah, from space. Would have been an easier thing to do.
So that's just a thing that's been kind of ruined for me in all movies that are about cover-ups. I'm like, I think people would only care for a day.
Yeah, I think
we're jaded.
I think that they would try to cover it up, but it wouldn't be the big, we've toppled America now, this small island nation who had a hard drive.
Yeah, especially because it's been 30 years, so it's not even the current administration did that. It's every administration.
Right.
For the last 30 years did it.
Yeah, I think it was post-World War II is what they were saying as well, where it's yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, and also World War II America also was down on some pretty nasty shit. Yeah, of course.
Of course.
This all makes sense.
So the motivations didn't work for me for that part, just because I'm jaded.
Yeah. No, I can fully get on board with that.
Mm-hmm. A sad note to leave on.
A sad note to
that
end
there are
on.
no repercussions.
That there are no repercussions for anything ever. Well, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? So now that we've discussed everything we discussed, what would you change about this movie if you could change anything? But before we do get into that, we need to remind you, as we do every single week, take a minute or two out of your day to rate, review, and subscribe or follow on whatever podcatcher you use, Apple Podcasts or whatever it might be.
Whatever you're using, there's a subscribe button. There's gotta be.
Sometimes it's called follow, but whatever the button is, you hit the button. And then also leave a rating and review. That helps us move up the charts. It helps us find new listeners. It costs you nothing, and it means a lot to us and helps us grow and expand.
We love reviews. We read them. Other people read them. It's very important that people know our listeners like us. It helps so much. If you have a quick second to follow, rate, and review, we would appreciate it so much.
And that's a free way to support the podcast. If you do want to support the podcast monetarily, you can check, fancy. You can check us out over on Patreon, which is at patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. At patreon.com/fromsuperheroes, you can subscribe at whatever level you can afford. You can do as little as $1 a month, which those add up and make a huge difference in the production of this network and in our personal lives. And you can do as little as $1 a month, as much as you can afford. You get different cool bonuses at any given level. You're going to get some kind of a cool bonus. For fans of the podcast, specifically at the $10 level, you get a bonus episode of the podcast every single month. And this month we did Jungle Cruise, which was a lot of fun. That was a delight of a movie and episode.
Yes, and you get access to all the old episodes at the $10 level as soon as you sign up. So there's 80, I think, episodes there now. It's things we never cover on the regular podcast, ad-free. It's just pure talk from superheroes. As pure as it gets.
It's uncut.
Ooh. Sometimes we edit it.
Sometimes. So check
but there's
that.
no ads.
There's no ads. So check that out over on patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That's patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. And now let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, what would you change?
I have a joke one and a serious one. The joke one
Lay them both on me.
The joke one is a way I would actually genuinely have liked to have seen this movie end, but they never would have done it. And so the joke one is at the very end, they start to leave and not fight Starro, and then they decide to fight Starro, and they're walking, and Amanda Waller's gonna blow up their heads, and you see Starro, and he's huge. You're like, what are these guys gonna do against Starro? And I really, really wanted Superman to just kill Starro in one punch, and then they all just go home. I really wanted Superman to just heard about it, flew over, because he exists. It's an extended universe. Flew through Starro with one hit, kill him, and they're like, oh, I guess we'll go home. That's my fun fake ending that I thought would have been really funny and very James Gunny. My actual change is the Thinker's really bad at his job. They've been doing 30 years of experiments on Starro, and they have no metahumans. They have no advanced technology.
They have no use for him.
They have a bunch of people that he can control and they can't, that he's holding in cages that are making Starro stronger.
And bigger, stronger and bigger.
He's stronger the more minds he gets. So I would make this useful and dangerous. I really think the government needed mind-controlled soldiers who feel no pain. Because everything's kind of easy for the Suicide Squad, and they're supposed to be like idiots who aren't good at things. Like everything they try to do, they succeed at quite easily. So I would really like to see like some challenges for them because they are super powered and they only fight regular guys until they fight Starro at the very end. So I would like to see like mind-controlled soldiers who feel no pain, who or some kind of adaptation because of Starro to show that the Thinker has offered something after 30 years of research and isn't just cutting the legs off people for no particular reason.
For no reason at all.
For some haunting reason that he just likes to see that.
And they're like, this is evil. We send the political dissidents here and then put a star on them. And it's like, couldn't you have just shot them?
Yeah.
Like, I get that you're bad, but like, this is no different than if you just shot people.
Because he's very clear that once the star goes on your face, you're a corpse. There's no coming back from it. Mm-hmm. You're basically dead instantly.
Yeah.
So what are you gaining From this?
Question mark?
Nothing. They've gained nothing. So there has to have been some reason that you send a superpowered team to do this. There has to be a superpower element apart from just a giant Starro once he gets free. I think that would have made it more exciting and more fun, more things to comment on, like, what are these guys? What's happening? Why do they have tentacles? I don't know. Something like that. And also, I would like to have seen the ending seemed a little abrupt, that suddenly Ratcatcher was the most powerful person who ever lived. Just like you could have done the entire mission this way if you had hundreds of thousands of rats. So I would have liked to have seen her. The Thinker has a throwaway line of, I'm working on something like that when he sees her control the rats with his little stick. I would have liked to have seen her reverse the mind control with her stick on all the people. So she uses her little stick and she can mind control rats. I think she should have found a way to like use it on the people who'd been Starroed.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Or some kind of like mind control element. Something that ties these things together in instead of just, I have hundreds of thousands of rats.
Right.
I think would be more interesting and more of a play on what her powers are compared to his. And more of like a will of fates or something. Or a fate of wills. Or
a war of wills.
War of wills. You know how phrases work. Thank you so much. Those are my like many changes.
Okay, yeah, you did hammer a few in there.
I'm sorry.
I like the joke ending. I like the joke. I think the joke ending really works for me. I like that a lot. That's
feels
very
James Gunny.
Yeah, and obviously, like they probably couldn't afford, or I don't even think they can acknowledge that a DCEU exists anymore. So it wouldn't, maybe they couldn't get Superman, but. Bizarro, like cast Bizarro and have Bizarro come be like the ultimate Suicide Squad person and save the day, or like Solomon Grundy shows up and just like throws Starro back into space or whatever. Or
just like a blue blur that is implied to be Superman. You never have to show Cavill.
Right.
It's very blurry when he's fast.
Right, yeah, that works too.
Yeah. So those are my changes. Overall, it's a fun movie. Andrew, what would you change?
I think I would just have like two quick ones. One would be delete the C storyline of the political freedom fighter dissidents uprising.
Yeah, that
stuff.
was nothing.
It was nothing. It went nowhere. They just mid-movie introduce a character who then doesn't really have any scenes, and then like has randomly then like way too late one scene. And then is on the TV at the end. It's like, we just had a successful democratic election. I mean, like, okay, I don't know. You did not. First of all, your island nation is decimated. Half of your population are dead from being turned into Starros right away.
Just now, we saw that happen.
You have no like roads or infrastructure to any of your government facilities anymore. Also, there were 4 presidential changes that the public didn't even have time to be informed of. No one knows who's in charge to have an election organized. You killed the entire cabinet. Like, no one knows who's running anything, and there is no infrastructure, and half the population is dead. You did not the next day have a successful, happy-ending democratic election.
Yeah, not the day to be dancing in the streets.
Yeah.
There are literal bodies everywhere you would dance.
So, like that, it's just it's a nothing storyline that goes nowhere other than idiocy, and it's just wasted screen time.
Cool with it.
Get it out of there. That's gone. And I wanted something more for the javelin. I feel like that could have been a joke that paid off. Hold the javelin for, and then there was no end to his sentence as Javelin died and handed Harley the javelin. And she's like the whole movie, like she won't let it go. And she's like, I'm waiting for God or Jesus or someone to tell me like, what did that mean? And then she just stabs a star in the eye, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, and it felt like anything could have stabbed the eye. Like, it wasn't like they were like, oh, that eye won't penetrate. We shot it with bullets and we shot it with other things.
Yeah.
Or, like, even if that is what she uses it for, it wasn't, like, established as a thing that needed a special thing.
Like a loose piece of rebar would have done it, like just rubble or anything. So I wanted some kind of a payoff with that javelin. And honestly, what I thought it was going to be, because that final scene when they're entering the big complex, it's this like terrible thunderstorm kind of comes out of nowhere. These like sun showers, it's daytime, but it's just like pouring rain and there's lightning behind them as well. Is that I was like, hold it for a lightning rod? Like there's going to be something where like she stabs it into Starro during a lightning storm and the electricity is what damages it or something like that. Or you could do or just make it pure comedy as well. But I needed something to pay off with that javelin.
Totally agree. Yes, they're a bigger payoff for something that was like seeded so many times throughout the movie needed a huge payoff.
Yeah.
Or a joke or something. Or like she was somehow controlling that weather. Because you're right, that storm came out of nowhere. And like even Idris Elba was like, oh great, we have cover now.
Yeah.
Like it was purposefully done by somebody.
Yeah, oh, that could be funny too if it was randomly when they get the comms back on, Amanda Waller is like, you know that javelin controls the weather, right? That was his power. It controlled weather.
And she'd be like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Because I love rain.
like that. I think that there's so many opportunities there.
Any line when the comms come back of what the javelin actually does would have been really helpful. Yes, the comms being down is a perfect cover for not knowing what that javelin does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I really also wanted a javelin before, I guess if he's giving it to Harley, you can't do it, but I really wanted to see Javelin on the beach and him to throw it and then be like, I only have one javelin. Because you do.
That's it. Unless it's one of those magic, like it comes back or like, yeah.
Anyway, that's a great change. Definitely.
All right. Well, I think we did it. We had a good time. We talked about the Suicide Squad, and that's going to do it for this week. Next week on the podcast, we're going to be back to talk about Free Guy.
Free that guy.
Free that guy. It's finally coming out, and we'll be back on the podcast next week talking about that. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach me on most social media at Ivimey, Ivimey.
You can reach me on Twitter at Words of Diana.
And you can reach both of us at From Superheroes, and we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.